Good afternoon on this cold day in January. I welcome you and state that the advisory board is now in session for the Parks and Rec. Can we have roll call, please?
Coiner. Here. He's online. Do I need to wait for him to say here?
Mr. Coiner? Is he off?
Okay.
Coiner.
Yes.
Greenlee. Present. Kefauver.
Present.
McBride.
Present.
Meyer.
Present.
Peterson.
Present.
Schertz.
Present. I got stuck shortly.
Spratt here, and Walker. Isn't she on there?
I am here.
Oh, okay, great.
you.
We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. It is our pleasure, since we had roll call, to hear that Linda Greenlee, our latest addition to the board, has said she is present. So we want to take a minute to welcome her, and she was going to just kind of introduce herself informally.
Well, I've been a resident since 1969, so you probably can catch on my age. My husband was a teacher at West High. That's why I wondered about the Coiner, because there was a Coiner basketball player. And
Yeah.
is this Jerry?
Yeah, that's my son Dave that plays.
Okay, I just knew that was, when I saw the name, I thought, boy, you got to be a Coiner.
Yeah, I had 4 sons. I had 4 sons go through West High School.
Right. And my husband taught driver's ed, so I usually end up knowing everybody in town because of that, too. So I have 2 sons. I have 2 sons, one in California and one here in Davenport.
Awesome. Well, welcome, and we're happy to have you with us. In looking at our agenda, our next item is approval of the December 16th minutes, which you received in your packet. Take a minute and look at it, and I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the December meeting. All those indicating approval, say aye.
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 Any negative vote in that approval? Great. Well, we'll put those minutes into our files as approved. Thank you so much. We do not have public with comment this afternoon, and we will, if you noted, we will have our master plan presentation will be in our February meeting, and that was one of the things that was part of our agenda. The next item is Becca, if she would take a moment. We have a new senior clerk connected with the Davenport Parks and Rec, and so she will do an introduction for us.
Hello, from Ms. Greenlee. I'm Becca Niles. I'm the Community Outreach and Experience Manager for the department. So we're going to introduce today a new full-time staff member who joined us in September. Amy Malshody is a senior clerk. She replaced another senior clerk that was a part-time senior clerk who moved into another department within the city, and she has joined our team. She's helping out with all of our accounts payable, revenue, and other duties as assigned. So I'm gonna let Amy talk a little bit about herself.
Hi, I'm Amy Malshody. I'm a Quad City native, born and raised here. I'm very happy to be on staff. I enjoy all my coworkers. I enjoy what I'm doing. One of the things I enjoy about this position is I get to wear many hats. So I do a wide variety of duties, and I previously worked for the city back in 2010 and 2011 in the finance department, but that was an intern position. So I was sad that I wasn't able to apply for that, and I'm very happy to be back full-time now. I have 3 sons. 2 are grown and flown the nest. One's in Michigan and one's in California. And my youngest is a junior at Bettendorf High School. So I'm very happy to be here and happy to meet you all.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, yes. Where is your office? If we were trying to find you, where would we find you? You know, there's several office spaces for staff, so let us know.
Down in the river's edge, when you walk into the door, I am down on the left, kind of at the end by myself.
Okay. So are you on the railroad track side?
Yes, it's right in front of me, so it rattles my desk. But it's a nice view.
Good. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Wave to the conductors and what have you going by on a
Yes.
regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next on our agenda is a presentation on a project, and it's the ARPA. And if you can give the official words that connect that abbreviation, I would appreciate
Sure.
it, because I see it and I go, yeah. Okay.
So Jess is pulling it up on screen, the visual. But you've heard me mention a couple times or reference ARPA projects that we are working on. So ARPA stands for the American Rescue Plan Act. It was the federal, one of the federal responses to the COVID pandemic that gave municipalities and states funding for certain initiatives and projects. The city of Davenport received roughly a little over $40 million. So in essence, this funding pot has created a second sort of CIP funding program that we are managing. The Parks Department was fortunate to receive approximately $2.5 million of that funding. So there are certain federal rules and guidelines to how we have to spend that, but one of those guidelines that has allowed us to do park improvements is that it can be spent to improve the health and well-being of neighborhoods. So the map you're seeing on the screen is a map of the locations or the parks that are getting ARPA dollars and for their improvements. And the selection of these parks, as we met with staff, it was initially myself, Betsy, city manager Corey Spiegel, and Tegan Trees, who used to be one of your members, who is now up in the administrative offices on 3rd floor here. I looked at these parks in particular because part of the funding regulations are they have to be in a low-income census tract, so only certain park parcels and that met that requirement could be eligible for this funding. So what I wanted to do today, and because we had to push again the Parks Master Plan to next month, was basically touch base on these, give you a little bit more detail of each improvement that is going into each park and sort of where we are in the process. So the first park on the list is Cork Hill. Cork Hill, we are looking to improve and replace the tennis courts there. They are severely underutilized and have actually become quite dilapidated. We are looking to replace those with what is termed a multi-sport court. So that is basically a hard surface sport court that has multiple play opportunities. Generally, you'll see things like basketball, futsal. It won't have any net type sports like tennis or volleyball, but it creates sort of an urban play court in the neighborhood for the kids. The second component of Cork Hill will be the upgrade of the existing splash pad or spray feature that's there. If you're familiar with Cork Hill, it has a very modest spray feature, and we are looking to upgrade that to a little bit larger footprint, probably 4 or 5 additional spray features in that. So we have a total funding for Cork Hill of $300,000. The second one on the list, if you're familiar, we often talk about Fedgeberry and Annie Witt, but we also have Dose Pool on the west side of town. Dose is an old neighborhood pool, and in recent years, it has become an increasing maintenance burden on the department and the city. It has infrastructure issues, mechanical issues, and it's really past its useful life. We are looking to decommission Dose Pool and enhance it with a destination-style spray pad. To give you an example, because we're still in sort of the design and process. If you're familiar with Adventureland and the major sort of spray piece in the middle of their water park, it will be similar to that, not quite to that scale, but think larger, more dynamic than, say, what we have at Centennial Park. So that we are in the process of doing an RFP for proposals from vendors. And that should come back sometime the second week of February. So my hope is with some of these projects, as we get these proposals in, is to have some renderings and options and have those for you guys to look at in the coming months. Emice is a park that we are looking to improve as well. Dose Pool is a $500,000 budget. Emice, 2 additions there. One is the replacement of the existing playground, which was on our list to replace anyway. So we are looking to replace that with a inclusive style play piece, similar, not to the scale of Gabe's at Vanderveer, but similar. It'll be more than just ADA accessible. It'll be inclusive. And then adding an additional play feature, an obstacle style play piece similar to the one at Sunderbrook, but designed more for youth ages 5 to 12. That project is actually being designed in-house by our landscape architect, Zach Peterson. So he is currently working on the designs. We're hoping to have those ready to bid sometime mid to late spring, select a vendor, and then probably look at a late summer, fall construction time frame for Emice. And again, Emice has a $500,000 budget between those two. Fedgeberry Park, if you guys recall, probably about 3 years ago, we went through a design process to design a play structure in the internal part of the learning center where Monkey Island used to be, that large grass area. We came up, and I think we presented to you guys, we worked with Hitchcock Design on that, and it's sort of the storybook theme. I don't know how many of you guys might remember that. So we are going back based on that design and actually going to implement the first phase of that development with the $400,000. Again, Zach Peterson is the one who will be working on the design on that as well. That one will be a little behind Emice, given Zach's workload, so that's more likely to go to bid sometime in the fall with the spring 23 construction timeline. One thing to note with these ARPA dollars, we have to have the funds expended by 2026. So there is a sunset period on when we have to have these funds spent. But that's 4 years, and we will certainly be able to accomplish these projects well within that time frame. Harbor Road is the next park. This one is to add an obstacle style playground to the existing play area. There's a $100,000 budget on that. Harrington Park, is going to get a new feature, multi-sport court, like similar to what I discussed at Cork Hill, and we have a $200,000 budget on that. Lafayette, this one is looking to enhance the existing play pieces, to add, I guess, historical type play. We have proposals out, and the RFP is sort of stating we want to be cognizant of the historical nature of that park, being the first park in Davenport and its location. So we're sort of interested to see what those come back as. But that has a $150,000 budget. The other component is to sort of shift some of the existing playground away from the busy intersection of Gaines and Fourth. If you're familiar with that park, that playground is really tight on the corner. So we're going to shift some of the play pieces away just from a safety standpoint. Van Buren Park, we are going to remove the existing tennis courts there and do another multi-sport court. That budget is $150,000. Wayland Park will be replacing the existing playground as is with the traditional play piece. So all total, $2.4 million budgeted for all these projects. And again, we are expecting most of the proposals sometime early to mid-February. And we'll bring back renderings and get comments and feedbacks from you all once we have those in place. Any questions on ARPA?
I have.
Yes, Jerry.
I have two questions. One at EMI's with the obstacles courses that's possibly going up in there.
Yep.
And you had said from 5 years to 12 years old.
Yep.
Is there an expansion to that if you needed to at a later date to an older age, up say like the 14 and 15-year-olds?
Yeah, there's always an opportunity to expand it if that's warranted. One of the reasons we're sort of targeting a more, I guess, younger age demographic is the obstacle style play piece that we installed at Sunderbrook is very much a teen adult play or obstacle style piece. So we wanted to balance an offering and make sure we have something that's geared more towards kids at EMICE.
Okay. And then my second question is on Lafayette Park.
Yep.
They had when I attended the festival we had down there, the party in the park.
Yep.
A lot of the people that live down around through there, they said, "But gee, we sure would like to see this whole park be completely redeveloped." And I think that's great that we can move that playground away from 4th Street and Gaines and get it out of that corner. But on the same token, hopefully that when we do that, and when you put in all those sidewalks in there for the ADA, would that kind of make the rest of that park be able to be developed? I mean, that's a large area, that whole park area. And I think you could do a lot of stuff around through that whole square.
Yeah.
Or just doing part of that.
Yeah. So
It doesn't seem like a lot of money you're being spent there for $150,000, or how much you're going to get from that to really develop that park. And that would be a great thing if we could really make that thing look like a star.
Sure. Yeah, that's something we can definitely look into as far as future funding to master plan that entire park space. And in doing that process, we would obviously keep in mind the existing play pieces we're putting in and incorporate it into any additional or future design. I agree that park is very mundane, I guess would be the term. It's a very centrally located park and serves a pretty important neighborhood too. So we can certainly look into that and take that into consideration.
Okay, thanks. That's all I got. Thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess,
Chris.
I assume we're not the only city in the country that's doing this kind of thing with these dollars, so is it gonna be like a backlog to order all these playground parts, or?
Oh, that's such an excellent question. Certainly, yeah, we are not the only city that received ARPA dollars. I can't speak to how many other communities are investing in parks with their funding. But we know, actually, from our experience with Tyler Park and that playground, yes, we are planning and expecting probably for long lead times on playground products. Fortunately, given the sunset window on spending the funds out to 2026, hopefully supply chain and product will be um, um, available within that window. But yes, we are prepared to possibly experience, delays. And we've dealt with that obviously firsthand with our most recent playground installation. So.
Good question. Other questions? Hearing none, we'll move on. I'm looking forward to report backs on progress on all of these. That's just awesome.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. We have Becca, who is going to be sharing the new recreation guide, and we have copies here to look at. So you will want to, if you are viewing our session today, be looking in the community for the product for spring, summer, and there's always a copy available at River's Edge if that's the only place you can find one. So Becca, you're on.
You got, hello. So you are the first to see this outside of our department staff. And then there's digital copies that were emailed out as well. So I'm just going to talk briefly about some of the overall changes that we've made to the last couple recreation guides. We wanted to bring this in line with the city branding standards. So you'll see that the color palettes and fonts that are used throughout are in line with the standards that were set by the city administration and other departments. We've increased the use of our own personalized imagery. So a lot of the photographs are of our users, our parks. I'm trying to limit the use of stock photography as much as possible. Community members love seeing themselves in our recreation guides. And the cover, I know you already went past it and that's fine. The cover is actually from our Jersey Farms park opening. And these two kids were having a blast, that whole entire ribbon cutting ceremony. And so I have lots of pictures of them right now. One of the other things I wanted to do is move the special event section up to the front. This is something that is benefited by our entire community. And I wanted to have that kind of front and center before we get into Parks and Rec, or the recreation programs themselves. And then new for this, if you can stay on this page, new for this particular recreation guide, we have kind of done a general news at the beginning of the recreation guide. So we have, Director Dyson's letter out to the community. We have our table of contents listing all of our board members and city council members. But we're also highlighting some of the general information that doesn't necessarily fall into a program or a facility or a park. So we have our now hiring call. We have a highlight of AmeriCorps and becoming a member. We are super excited that we're able to bring back the Summer Youth Scholarship Program. And this time we're knowing about it a little bit more in advance. So we, I think, are going to be able to reach many more people. Wanted to make sure we have that information in there for families. And we also have the Kids Pass coming back again. So we wanted to at least get this out and the knowledge of it into the public. And then one of the other changes that we did was I wanted to make sure that we're highlighting not just our rec programs, but also our parks and facilities. Almost anything that has to do with as a revenue source for us, whether that's rentals and reservations in our, not playground structures, I have that stuck in my head. our lodges, any of our indoor facilities, but as well are also our shelters. Thank you, that was the word. So you'll see that the guide itself is delineated between not just our programs, but also highlighting in its own section our facilities. Getting into some of our special events, the first 2 pages of the special event section is highlighting the programs that we as a department are overseeing. And then we get into the special call outs for our citywide summer theme. And this is in partnership. We've already met with representatives from not just our department, but Riverfront Improvement Commission. Public Works is going to get involved in this year. The library, Nahant Marsh, Figge, and Putnam. We all sat down at a table and decided how we can connect our programs all within the citywide theme of Beyond the Beaten Path, which frankly is just perfect for Parks and Recreation and all of our amazing trail systems here. Tying into Vanderveer has always kind of had their own summer theme as well, but we try and tie it into the larger citywide summer theme. So their theme this year is Beyond the Beaten Path of Life. And basically we're turning Vanderveer into a pseudo game of life, but we're gonna make sure people are going off the beaten path to collect points in life. We have Party in the Park is coming back. You're gonna start seeing that in the news. The press release just went out today about that. So save these dates. We'd love to have you join us for all of them. Mr. Evans is super excited about the Chili Open golf course coming back, our golf classic. And that's gonna be on Saturday, March 5th. So we wanna make sure that we gave a big shout out for that. And then this is gonna get into our recreation programs. So I make this in the guide itself when you get it, the nice printed version. This is a full spread, so that's why this picture looks a little cut off. And then this whole section is just our camps, any of our recreation programs, so all of our classes, whether it's nature and garden, sports, Davenport Junior Theater, our Learn to Skate, Learn to Swim, all of that class information is then there for anything that's basically running March through the end of August into early September. And that is the bulk of the recreation guide. Yeah.
Well, this is Jerry Coiner, and I'm really impressed how you put that book together, because that's a lot of work.
We have a really good team of reviewers, editors, content providers. We started this in the beginning of November, and staff looked at 3 different drafts of this. So it is a wonderful team effort. We've got really great team. So thank you.
Congrats to all.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to second that. Adriana here. I really think that that's really amazing, everything that you listed. And I think that's brilliant to update the format of the activity guide to incorporate the employment opportunities and that
Yes.
we've been looking to fill. So hopefully that will answer a lot of questions. And the Beyond the Beaten Path, I think that's so amazing, and I definitely look forward to that and getting a lot of community involvement surrounded around that and supporting all of these partners.
Excellent, thank you. We cannot take credit for the theme. I will give credit where credit is due. There is a national library reading theme that they come out with every summer for their summer reading programs at the national level. And it works so well to partner with the library in coordinating our summer theme with them. So when we do our work on our citywide summer theme, we do keep in mind what the library is going to be doing. And we already have our theme for next year, which is Find Your Voice. So what I want to highlight really is the facilities section. This is a somewhat new section to the recreation guide. And this is, again, part of my goal of highlighting not just our programs, but also our spaces for people. And in this section, each of our indoor facilities gets its own page with information on how to rent and what is available there. And I'm gonna wait until we get to my I feel like was a very hard fought thing for me. We have the park map is now 1 page instead of over 2 pages. I was very proud of that. Rolled that out with our fall winter guide, but the next page is something I'm very proud of. We've taken every single park and facility. I know it's very hard to read on the screen right now. And we created an icon system to help highlight visually what amenities are in each of our parks. I'm very interested. I would love to get some feedback and ideas on how well this worked, especially if you're out in the community and talking with anybody. I'm a very visual person when it comes to information, and we have so many parks and facilities, which is amazing, but it was hard to get that all onto a page that is easy for someone to be able to read. And I found that icons might be the easiest route to go because it's a quick visual rather than having to read words. We had it originally set up in a grid system, which was great, but the word was up at the top and then there was a little dot. And so you're like the XY grid. So I was trying to kind of simplify that. And again, this was a huge team effort. Betsy and Teresa both gave me feedback on this one. Jess gave me feedback on this to make sure that we were as accurate as possible. So I'm very proud of this page.
Pretty descriptive, pretty good.
Thank you. The facility rentals page is...
Great job, team.
Say that again, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you.
I said great job, team.
We have we're wanting to make sure we're highlighting the rental information at a glance. So it's easy for people to get informed about our spaces and what we can offer before calling in and not quite sure what they're looking for. And then we have our facility descriptions. This is a listing of hours, operating hours, list of amenities or what is offered there, and how to contact each of the facilities. And then the last change that I made, typically in the past we have had, this is the back cover, this is the last page, we have had a large open white space for mailing these. And I found that we end up putting it into an envelope anyway. So I wanted to better utilize this area for calling out our free family fun activities, our contact information, and helping with the city messaging about transitioning over to Alert Iowa from Davenport Direct. So you'll start seeing this back page will start having more content on it moving forward. One of the other big procedural changes that we made to this was we moved up the production timeline so that these were starting to come out at least a month before the start of a season. That allows parents to have time to go through it, get familiar with what programs are coming up, and get registered in advance. And then some of the future plans I'm looking at is inclusion of staff video or staff photos and bios, so the community can start getting to know some of the people that are actually putting on these programs. That was a directive from Mr. Dyson over here. And then I also would like to start doing more of a campaign for the digital version, tying it in with some of our YouTube channel and doing instructor, clips of what our classes look like, doing introductions to staff and our instructors who are leading these classes so people can start getting a better idea of what we're offering, and then also getting some testimonials from participants. So we'll have the digital version of the recreation guide online, but it'll link over to our YouTube channel to learn more about specific classes. So that's a future plan.
That's awesome. Are there any other questions for Becca? Jody has a question. Okay, I can't see Jody. Okay, I see Jody and Jerry.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Yes, hi guys. I hope you guys are staying warm there. In the Learn to Skate, calling from sunny Arizona, in the Learn to Skate and Learn to Swim, do we not have a Learn to Golf program at all? I know it was one of the recommendations coming up, but I'm kind of surprised that we don't have anything where juniors can come, younger kids can come and get cheap lessons and learn how to golf. Is that not something we've had? And if so, are we planning on adding that in the future?
Jody, this is Chad. I'll respond to that. We do have a youth program, or we partner with the First Tee of the Quad Cities out of our Red Hawk Learning Center. So they provide the youth lessons. And I'm excited to announce that we are also going to be this summer expanding the First Tee program to EMICE as well. So yes, we do have a youth golf program that will be operational at 2 of our 3 courses.
Okay, is that in the book then? Maybe I just missed it.
It's not in the book. That's not something that we do the registrations for. If you are registering for First Tee, you do go directly to the First Tee organization. So they're a nonprofit organization that works from Red Hawk right now. So that is part of the reason why it's not listed in there.
Right, because we don't get revenue from it, but yet it's offered at one of our facilities.
Yeah, we do. I've done social media pushes and helped with kind of, if I see that they're doing something via their social media outlets, I will share onto our page and help spread the word. But I do get nervous about if it's registration through another agency, but it's listed as a class that we offer.
Jody, I'll add to Becca's comment. We do partner with them and do media pushes and social pushes, but they have their own separate branding identity registration procedure. So they're pretty, I would say, sort of guarded in how that is utilized as far as sort of rights. But if you've been to Red Hawk, the classroom is branded. And I'll also note, recently will be renamed in honor of Jim Hazley. City Council passed that motion. But yeah, we work pretty closely, and I'm actually a First Tee board member, so I work with Sarah. But we don't directly put it in our guide due to those sort of issues, if that makes sense.
But it would be nice to see it, yeah.
I guess it does.
Yeah. Good question.
It just would be nice. I know if it's not supported by the parks, it'd be nice to say, there is a program at our facilities, but it's not,
I guess
schedule through the parks. Here's the number.
Right, and what I guess what I'm saying is we do that, but we do it through other methods and means, not this guide.
Lynn,
Do we have a way?
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a way of putting something there that would tell them where to go to contact that First Tee? Because people are going to go to the golf courses and say, want to know how to get their kid in there. I mean, do we have anything?
This is Jerry, and I just got on the internet just for the heck of it. And if you go to First Tee, which will take you right out to Red Hawk, and then through that whole system, there's a registration, there's a register for a class, there's registration, there's programs, it's got everything, all the information in there. So if you contact, I think if you get a hold of Brent out at First Tee, probably give you all the information you need, I would think. And then plus by getting online, you could get into the First Tee program and they'll give you all the information on how to register, do all that stuff.
That's great.
Right, but that's if, say somebody new comes to town, if they don't know about it, they pick up the Parks Department and says, oh, they don't have anything for golf. It's just a suggestion, but if you guys seem like there's enough participation and it's working, that's fine.
Yeah, participation's outstanding, and that's why we're expanding to EMICE. I can give you more details separately. It's sort of challenging to explain why their branding, because they're a national organization, there's just certain things we're not able to use, copyright type issues in print materials. I don't know how to explain it any further. But we partner with them and try to push stuff out and information through other means, so.
It's a good topic. So, further explanation might be helpful over time, but I'm understanding that there are guidelines. So, we'll go with that starting point to understand more. Jerry again? Okay, I can't see that. Jerry, another comment?
No, I was just jumping in on that. That was all.
Thank you. Now we have it, and I think about what's going on now. And, a year ago, we were all hunched down, and I personally feel like we're kind of opening up. And I think the timing is great to have this going on early. People are anxious and ready to go. So I think it's exciting to have this started early. So thanks for that.
Yeah, it should go, we'll have it digitally available on February 1st, and delivery of the printed version should be at the latest February 7th, and we'll start distributing from there.
Awesome. That would be before spring breaks. Good. Awesome. Thank you. Shall we move
I
on?
have a question on the book.
Hello? Is that Jerry?
I do have a question on the books. When they're available in February at the River Center, will we be able to pick up some so we can take them to ward meetings and out?
The heads are shaking yes.
Okay.
Yes, I will make sure that we have bundles that you're welcome to take. I can bring them. Just let me know how many you'd like, and I can have them ready for you.
That would be
Okay.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we move on? We have staff reports. We have written reports that we received. And so now is our time to ask questions from what you reviewed. Let's take a minute to do that and then entertain any questions about the reports from staff that we have with our packet today.
Wendy, Troy will be giving a verbal update of his staff report
Okay.
today.
I'll add that, okay. I just had one comment, I guess. Actually, two. I was really thrilled this week to walk into River's Edge, and above the reception desk is the screen with now hiring. It's well done. So I would like to know who got in on that, because I think I mentioned it would be great to have that going down there. So your comments on that for those who created and had a part in it would be appreciated.
Oh, so the slides that are on that television are things that I oversee and create based on conversations with staff or whatever our marketing and communication needs are at the time. The now hiring, we've had that up for a couple months, but since we're rotating through 5 or 6 slides, you may have been missing, but we have just, with all of our positions going live for our spring summer needs, we have been working on putting together materials. We were at a job fair, and we have a couple more that are scheduled coming up. And so we've been putting together all of our marketing materials and collateral for that. So you'll start seeing more flyers, we've got bookmarks that we're ordering, more posters. We're reaching out to schools about putting up an actual large poster in the hallways displaying things that, opportunities for high school students. And we've been reaching out to the colleges as well.
Awesome, awesome. Do I ask the other question? How is the use of our ice sheet at Vanderveer going? It's always it was not freezable, now it's freezable, and then we had snow. So is it giving positive reactions and use?
Unfortunately, the rink had vandalism, and they're
kids punched a hole in the liner. So we are working on getting that replaced. So in the meantime, the lagoon is safe to skate. We have not cleared the snow off of it, but it is safe and the thin ice signs are down.
I was just curious about that.
We have Krista and then Jody that have questions.
Okay. Krista, question?
Yes, thank you. I was curious, well, I wanted to say, first of all, that Lafayette has a lot of trash problems. And if we could get, I know the trash cans are 1,000, that doesn't include implementation thereof, and delivering, but if we could get trash cans and pick up at Lafayette, that would be so tremendous to the community to help get trash off the streets in the area. So, and then also one more thing, I was curious, this is about Harrington Park, the ADA complaint sidewalk that they're restoring. I was curious if that includes the concrete slab underneath the meeting shelter there. That's the bridge in between, because that slab's really cracked, and that place is very active. I just wanted to mention that. And one more thing, last thing, I swear. Paint. I know I read somewhere. I don't see it right now. I read it on one of the one of the project plans that they were talking about repainting the courts. And that was really big because that's really needed. We need new paint, and especially on the trash cans at, let's say, Harrington, for example. They're just subpar and they look really beat up. That's all I wanted to mention. Thanks.
And Betsy, did you have a reply to the Krista and the concrete? Okay. We have noted your comments and they're beneficial. So, are we good? Okay. Okay. Jody and Adriana. Jody?
Okay, how is the skating on the retention pond at Blackhawk? I thought I saw something on social media. Is that doing okay? And then also, how are the trees and the removal of trees down at Credit Island going?
So Jody, this is Chad. I'll take the first question. I'll let Betsy comment on the trees. The ice rink at Blackhawk, to my knowledge, has been very well received. That was actually an initiative of Alderman Dunn. We assisted in the early stages of helping clear that pond, and then he worked in conjunction with the fire department to lay down the water. So it's in a park, and we've assisted, but it's really been the effort of Alderman Dunn, and he deserves the credit for those efforts. But in talking to him recently, my understanding is that it's been used heavily and well received. So.
Okay. Thank you. Good. And trees?
That's good. Maybe some of the kids in the West End will get some use out of it, or anybody for that matter, but that's nice that that's down there. I just happened to see a picture, so thank you.
Yes, and regarding the trees down at Credit Island, the forestry crew with assistance from the streets crew has been working down there daily. And we talked to staff today and they thought they would be done here within a week or so.
Thank you. Adriana, you had
Wow, that's excellent news.
Great. Adriana, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, I've got questions about both of those topics as well. I think that was an interesting move, multi-use, I guess, of those retention ponds down at Blackhawk. My question, though, because those are supposed to be performing a service when the creek is, starts to flood, are those retention ponds going to be drained come springtime? Is there a plan for that?
So detention ponds drain naturally as a function of how they're in, so we would anticipate as the thaw happens, that water will drain accordingly. You know, it holds water temporarily as water rises and then they drain. But we can certainly keep an eye on it to make sure that there's no impact to any potential flooding of the creek.
You're right.
All right. And then I noticed that there were some trees that were newly planted at Credit Island. There were some white pines and red oaks. And you mentioned forestry and streets crew. I was just wondering who planted those trees and where the funds came from.
So again, Alderman Dunn and I know Jerry was down there. They had a big.
Sorry, that's at Credit Island, but yeah, it's still, okay. I didn't know if I said that part.
Yeah, so Credit Island, they had a big community planting event there in the fall. And then John Vance, who is our city arborist, has a plan to help reforest Credit Island as well. And that's just part of the forestry budget that he has every year.
We planted an awful lot of trees down there.
Does that answer your questions, Adriana?
Yes, thank you.
Great. And we have
I guess just keep an eye on those ponds because if they are still full, they might need to be pumped so that they could do their job. Yeah, that's all.
Great.
Just keep an eye out for that was my concern.
Yeah. We have one staff report to be given by Troy, who is here in the chambers. So you're on, Troy.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Troy Evans. I am responsible for the golf courses, operations, and also the River's Edge. Golf courses are deep into the winter routine of the mowing reel maintenance, where each reel unit that we have is taken apart, sharpened, and rebuilt for the next season. Golf has over 78 reel units from various turf machines, and the only thing we're finding is like a lot of things, we're having trouble getting parts that we have gotten traditionally. So we're having to do a lot of study before we even take apart the reel to make sure we can get the parts we need to put them back together. Or some of them have already been taken apart, so we're putting them back with old parts because we're on a timeline and the parts are on a way off timeline. On March 5th, as Becca stated earlier, we're going to have the Chili Open that we've had every year. It's at Red Hawk now. It's been there for the last several years. We are taking tee times through the golf system this year instead of the Parks and Recreation system. So any inquiry should go to Duck Creek phone number or to the golf pro there at Matt Hazley, and we're taking tee times now. We look forward to having a good event this March. And then City Council recently approved the renewal contracts of all three of our golf pros. The three that are here have all been here since 2002, so they're very recognized and very established in our system, and we're glad to continue our relationships with them going forward into the next few seasons. As far as the River's Edge, it's been, our normal winter operations there. We're expecting an uptick in ice activities with the approaching Winter Olympics, especially in the public, the things that the public can come in to do, and everything's going as well as we can keep it going there. So, have any questions? I'd be glad.
Jody has a question.
I do.
Jody, and then Jerry.
Okay, thank you. I had a friend who had a child that was school shut down at Christmas and had went to the ice skating rink. And there was virtually nobody there. What was the attendance during school break? And we have maintenance regardless whether it's being used. So what could be done to increase usage during that time if there wasn't much usage? I don't know whether there was or not.
Well, some of the programming that you see is behind the scenes rentals, or if it was a public time, we try to promote our public events such as public skate and drop-in hockey. It has been related to some staff shortages on why we haven't gone beyond some of the capacities that we've been able to execute there. But we've kept a pretty normal schedule as normal years. It's just sometimes you might be in between, or it could just be private rentals going on.
If I can add to that, part of the participation issue, I think we're still having a little hangover from the pandemic. We're seeing just reluctance to participate, particularly in indoor activities. That could be some contribution to the, I guess, decline in participation, and we're hoping that sort of alleviates as we hopefully move to an endemic as opposed to a pandemic. The other thing I would add is the public skate offerings are thoroughly marketed. I'm not certain we can, well, I should say I'm certain that we could look at other opportunities to try to get that word out. But I would tend to think that most of the participation issue has to do with it being an indoor event, because we've seen some of that with other programs that are held indoors.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time? What was that last sentence about outdoors?
Indoors. Sorry, I have a mask on. So what I said is we've seen impact to indoor programming due to the pandemic participation.
Thank you.
That makes sense. Outdoors, people love to get outdoors. We haven't seen any impact. We've actually seen increases. Is evidence in our uptick in golf rounds and trail usage and other outdoor events.
Jerry, did you have a question?
I do. I have a couple things here. First of all, how's the new building coming out at EMI's, Troy?
The new building is done. It is. We're very happy to have all the additional space, and we actually just pulled the first two pieces of equipment into it yesterday, so it's pretty fresh. And we're really happy to have like all that extra space out there. He's speaking of a new maintenance building structure we put out at EMICE to replace some of the storage that was the original farmstead that was donated to when they donated the property. So
now that you have that building up, do you think you still have enough room, or do you need more room?
That's a loaded question.
there's always the need for more room, as you know, there's as things are arranged, but we're going to be we're in much better shape than we were.
Okay, and we're going to keep the other two buildings, or are you going to get rid of them?
A couple years ago, we put some roofs on some of those buildings, so we plan on tinting them over so they look, so they look like a complex, and they won't look old; they'll look new as well. And then use the space as best we can inside them as well.
That's good. So, what's new for 22 at the golf courses?
Well, funny you should ask. I made a list just this morning. How's that?
And then I have one request, and then I'll let you go and answer that. My
okay,
request
sir.
is, I had a nice conversation with Matt here a while back, a couple of weeks ago. And we were talking about the practice area for the pads. And what came up is that I said, well, I sure would like to see one sand trap at Duck Creek. And he says, you know what? I'd like to see one too. And I said, okay, well then maybe we can bring that up at the next meeting, that we could get one sand trap at Duck Creek somewhere.
There is one in the parking lot. If you stray off far enough.
But I don't want it in the parking lot. I want it in the golf course.
And believe it or not, I've had to pull some people out of it.
Okay. All right. Just tell me what you're going to do
Okay,
for 22.
I'll rattle off this list real quick. Some of it I'm speculating, so I'll try to not read those out. The Chili Open Golf is now a golf course event. We plan on making it bigger and better every year as we go forward through the golf course operations. The new maintenance building at EMICE, that's a very nice addition to our operations and efficiencies. The equipment plan through Public Works is being we're now on an annual basis. It's not as big as it needs to be, but it's something that was missing for several years. So we got an equipment replacement plan. We're going to get new pickers for the range. The guys that you see out in the cages that are picking up the balls. Some of those carts are kind of old. They die on them, and they got to walk in and dodge balls, or the cage has holes in it now. So we're going to get new ones, so they'll be safe and efficient. The outdoor restrooms at the golf courses, we're going to renovate those this summer. Cosmic Golf will be on a schedule this year. We laid off of it the last couple of years because of the different COVID strains and a couple other setbacks. The first tee will be at EMICE. That's going to be new. And yes, and we plan on through a CIP finishing up the rest of the bunkers at EMICE. As those have been commented about, most of them are done, but there's still a last batch of them to be completed this summer or fall. How's that, sir?
I hear nothing. I hope that he took
Hopefully he's taking notes. I'm sure he was.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Speechless.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Lots of good stuff happening. I'm anxious for the Cosmic Golf myself. Anyhow, we have
my mic's not on.
Okay. We have a report from Chris Meyer, who does the Riverfront Improvement Commission duties representing the advisory board. So do you have something to report, Chris?
No, because the Riverfront Improvement Commission did not have a December meeting. They have a meeting next week, and I will report next month about that. But yeah, they took off a month, so I've got nothing to say.
Well, that's moving right along. Anyhow, again, we get to this point and we've had such good input. It's almost like we've done our advisory board time ahead of time. But there are lots of subjects that have come up. Is there something that we need to add to our list for consideration at the next meeting, from advisory perspective? I'm hearing nothing. Other comments? Okay.
I'd just like to throw in 2 cents for and I was happy to see them on the map on the chart thing there, the casual baseball diamonds. They're at a lot of our parks, and I just love them. I grew up, doing Little League practice or just casual play with my friends at, like Tyler Park or places like that, where it's just a backstop and some dirt paths. Mm-hmm. But I think they're important. I hope baseball continues to be a big thing or gets bigger, but I'd just like to throw my support in not tossing those out. I know that's been mentioned a few times. Like the one at Lafayette Park I don't know how long that's been there, if it's a historic sandlot baseball type thing, but just throwing my support behind casual baseball diamonds.
Thank Other topics? Hearing none, we're looking at our time, has snuck past an hour here. Does Krista have? Please do.
I just want to say one more thing about Lafayette Park, about that play equipment. I love it. It's really awesome. It's completely unique. Even though it's old, it would be nice just to restore it. That's the last thing I wanted to say. Thank you.
Good comments.
A quick question here from Jody.
Uh-huh.
On the surveys, when will we get the results of the surveys? Will we get them before next month's meeting?
Yes, the park development surveys were due today, so you guys will actually have the slate next month to review.
Good. Is that right? Great, I see a thumbs up. At this point in time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn because I think we've had a full agenda and more is coming. So we'll do that online or, in other ways. So do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Linda Greenlee. Is there a second?
I second that. Krista Kiesler.
Okay, thank you, Krista. It's been moved and seconded for us to adjourn the January 20th meeting. All in say yes or yes?
Yes.
I hear lots of yeses. I do not expect a no, but here's your opportunity. So thank you and stay warm. Have a safe trip home, and soon we'll have summer again. I have a robin in my backyard, and we've had up to 6, and that bird just was all day in the sunshine. I'm going,